I'm going to share with y'all a little bit more about what happened when I got back to Evansville after they discharged me from the hospital with the burns. They gave me one prescription of 90 Percocet 5s. And my first night out of the hospital, I went to who was supposed to be my best friend's house. Well, as it turned out, he had plans on cooking dope that night, and I couldn't stay there. Our abandoned house that we were squatting in was blown up. This was my first experience with homelessness. I didn't know about shelters, but by the time I realized I didn't have anywhere to go, they were already shut down. I wasn't allowed to go to my mom's house because of the damage that I had done and because of what had happened with a previous experience that I will share at a later date. So, my friend, so called friend, best friend, supposed to be, offers to buy a large percentage of my medication that was to take care of my pain so that I could put a roof over my wife's head for a few nights at the hotel. I had just enough pain medicine to make it through 2.5 days. Third night, I was out of medicine. I was in such excruciating pain that I was rocking, sitting up in the bed. I kept taking hot showers and running scalding water on my arm to get this burning to stop, to get to soothe it. I must have took 10 showers that night. And that night, God reached out to me through a movie called The Book of Eli. And as I was in tremendous pain and in tears, this movie comes on. And I get this calmness to me that something that was connecting me to God, which at the time was something that was weighing heavily on my mind because a death had just occurred. And so I had a little bit of pot. It was all I had to fight the pain with, but I could only smoke it in one or two hits at a time if I was going to make it last. And so I took a couple hits and I watched about halfway through the movie, and I had to take another shower and then come back out and took a couple more hits, got my arm to chill out. I had all I couldn't even put the wrapping on it because it was ripping at the parts that were hanging off. It was snagging on everything, and it felt like the skin on my arm was being ripped off as it was being seared. And you don't know what pain is. That's pain. That's not the everyday pain that I live with now. The everyday pain I live with now is a constant reminder of the damage that I've done to myself through all that running and gunning and being in the explosion and the man, I ran my body into the ground and have done irreparable damage that is slowly making its way towards getting better, but I'll never be the same. I'll never be who I was before I started. I will be better in mind and spirit and in my heart. They're coming out with things that help the body. We're doing some experiments with some patches and some all natural herbs, essential oils. I got some on the way called Soothing Blend. It's supposed to help with pain. We're going to give that a shot. I got 4 Nature's Frequencies patches on my lower back right now. So that I am not hurting so bad I can't breathe. But anyway, back to the story. I was watching that movie, and that connection to God calmed me. But then the movie was over, and the sun came up, and all my pain medicine was gone. The pot was gone, and checkout time's coming. Nowhere to go. No friend to go stay with. No family that would allow me in the house. Nowhere to go. I can't possibly explain to you what it feels like to know that you can't enter your mother's house and that you can't see the ones you love most because of the things you've done. I had nightmares for years. These were part of them. Uh, the experience led me to learn what the homeless system's about. Shelters, the it's all fed to, it's all made while people have good intentions. Shelters is just a drug doing frenzy play. It's a one stop shop like prison. Everything you need's right there in the building. They try to fight it and they try to keep it away, but they can't. They can't watch everybody at every second. Well, we stayed at that shelter every night. We had to wait in line at 5, get up at 6 in the morning and leave. Stay gone all day. It was during the winter. And then we had to check back in at 5:30, but we had to get in line at 4:30 so that we could make sure we get a bed. And one night, um, we're in line and we wait to get our beds, and they they gave me a bed, And then they went to go give my wife a bed. But they didn't give her a bed. They gave her a broken box spring that had boards sticking out of it. So I told the guy, I was like, let me at least trade. Let me give her my bed. I'll take the box spring. I'll just sit on the edge of the thing all night. She can sleep in my mat. She can sleep on my mattress. And the guy wouldn't let us do it. So she couldn't sleep on that. There was boards sticking out of it. I mean, poking through the top, broken, sticking out of it, with springs popping out. Or it was it was a pin cushion, wood and metal. This guy on his high horse, if his power and authority was gonna make a woman sleep on that box spring because she was homeless and didn't have any other choice. It's 15 degrees outside. We had no choice. We had to leave. We had to take everything we had with us. We walked 5 blocks till I found an abandoned house that I could get into. And I got into it and I searched the house and I had found a room where a previous homeless man had slept, and took our blanket, took one of our blankets, put it over the bed, and we had to take all of our clothes off, lay together underneath the other blanket. And the only reason that we survived that night was through shared body warmth. If we hadn't done what we had done, we would have died, possibly. I can't say for sure. But all because the guy on a power trip that had control over my life, because I was homeless and was going to try to make my wife sleep on a broken box spring. We slept in an abandoned house with broken windows at 15 degrees. It felt like a lot colder. That was one of the roughest winters of my life. We slept in all kinds of messed up places. We slept in a shed on a broken love seat together for about a week one time, outside her friend's house, where we could go inside during the day, but we had to sleep in the shed at night. Homelessness ain't, homelessness ain't no joke. I'll tell you about the viaducts in Louisville one time. That's a real homeless problem right there. Living underneath the bridges. Yeah. That's a story for a later date, though. This is my story for tonight. My shared experience. Drugs led me to homelessness. It's my fault. I did it. I own it. I protected my wife, and I did what I could. Wind up going to prison for her. As soon as I signed those papers, I never heard another word from her. She left. I was divorced 2 days before my release. Y'all have a good night. See ya.